Hello. All right. Hey, YouTube. This is my first time going live on my YouTube channel as well as Facebook. I'm going to do a holiday suicide prevention training, like a workshop, just some awareness. Hey, Mr. J. All right. Let me see. So, just taking some time here, just waiting until 7 o'clock. I guess I could start on the Instagram too. Let me see. All right. I'm just waiting for. I'm putting me a filter on Instagram. Okay. So hello, welcome everyone. So I'm doing a live today. I'm doing a live. It's a holiday suicide prevention training. So I'm a QPR gatekeeper, right? So this means I'm a master trainer. I'm trained to train others on how to prevent suicide. And we all know it's the holiday. So like a lot of people get down during the holidays. And we don't really address people's mental health at all, let alone during the holiday. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to discuss the elephant in the room. All right. Yay. So I'm going to wait until 7 o'clock to start. But thanks for joining. I have Instagram on, Facebook, YouTube. Listen, we got to save lives, okay? We have to save people and rescue them from their trapped thoughts. And I want to do that during this holiday season. So thanks for joining. I'm super nervous. I'm cracking up. I was in the back snoring. She's so tired. For those of you who do not know, Isla is my child. She's just snoring in the back right now. Hey, Olivia. How are you? Hopefully, Isla doesn't wake up. So we just have a few minutes and then I'm going to get started. So I just mentioned I'm doing a suicide prevention training today. I'm going to keep saying that until 7 o'clock. It's going to be brief. I'm going to go through it, try to make it fun because I like to have fun. All right. I'm good. We still have to connect too and go to 6 p.m. service. I went back to Limitless Church this weekend. Hey, Jack. I miss you, Jack, so much. Your birthday is in like 10 days, right? Yes, I remember your birthday. Isla's yawning in the back. Thanks, Mr. Jack. Isla, you have to be quiet. I'm recording. Isla, shh. You can get the iPad, okay? You can have an hour with that while I'm occupied. You have to get up and get it yourself because I'm recording, okay? All right, so this is how, because I don't want to waste anyone's time. I do want to see if I have any followers on YouTube. No, I don't. That's all good. It's okay. As long as we save one life, that's enough. All right, so QPR, right? Question, persuade, refer. I like to say respond. Is an organization that sponsored my training, and I am a gatekeeper. So I am certified to train others on how to prevent suicide. And as I referenced earlier, I'm Dr. Chappelle, Washington Freer. Some of you know me as Pelly, so I'm still her. Okay, so I'm like, and some people know me as Queen Dr. Mommy. My brand is Queen Dr. Mommy, and that was really established around just supporting people right, in the urban community, and I like to uplift everyone past their mental roadblocks. So I encountered my passion working with first generation youth and also having my own experience with depression and suicide. And yeah, so I'm going to get started. So I am going to mention this is not a counseling session. So this will not serve as therapy. I just want to put that out there. This is simply awareness, um, just so that we can all know how to save a loved one, right? But so that was my trigger warning. I'm also going to share this here, which is our national suicide hotline. So I'm going to move it over for Instagram, and then here you are for Facebook. So National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Okay. So, all right. QPR, and I'm gonna say this again, is not intended to be a form of counseling or treatment. It's just offered to give hope. All right. So the Q is question, the P is persuade, and the R is refer. Okay, so a few myths around suicide. Hopefully, this is supposed to be interactive. So hopefully, some of you kind of tune in and just share some of your thoughts. So no one can stop a suicide; it is inevitable. Is that a myth or is that a fact? That was a myth, okay? So, a fact is if people in a crisis get the help they need, they will probably never be suicidal again, okay? So, oftentimes, a lot of things go like unresolved. Like a lot of the thoughts and challenges we have or incidents that may happen, we never get down to the root of it. So, it kind of just builds up over time. Okay, so now I'm going to go into some warning signs. All right, warning signs. So we had 4 warning signs. One is direct. That's the first one. The second one is indirect. Okay, and then the third one is behavioral, and the fourth one is situational. Hey, Aunt Denise, I'm doing the suicide prevention training, right? Because we know sometimes during the holiday, some of us get depressed and I just want to help somebody today because I've been there. So we're about to go into the warning signs, and there's 4: direct, indirect, behavioral, and situational. Okay, and so I'm going to break down each one of those and just list like a few. So direct, a few verbal clues that are extremely direct. I've decided to kill myself. So if someone is suicidal and they just say outright like I want to die, that's those are their feelings. Okay, I wish I were dead. I'm tired of my life. I just need a break. All of those things can be direct, right? Yes, rest in peace, Destin, of course. Rest in peace to Destin and Will Imran, 3 men that I value very much, especially Destin. That was like one of my favorite cousins. So yeah, but those are all direct signs. If someone says that they want to kill themselves, or I'm just tired, or I need a break, okay, you need to be alarmed and consider that as a direct verbal clue. All right, so second warning sign is indirect, right? And that's a behavioral, I'm sorry, just indirect. So I was just thinking today, I don't know if I can do this anymore. That's kind of like being around the bush, right? Kind of little, it's along the sign, along the same lines, right? But it's still like a little like, okay, you're not saying directly, I want to kill myself. Just I don't know if I can do this, which means you're having second thoughts about living this life. Okay. I just want out, or I won't be around much longer. Those are very indirect but direct. And so that's still a sign. Now, behavioral clue, right, which is our third warning sign, behavioral. So if someone attempts suicide, which is that is a behavior, even though that's pretty direct and kind of just obvious, that's still behavioral. And then also like just starting, like if someone starts just cleaning out all of these things and you're like, what's going on? You don't know anything about a shift or like a job change or anything like that. You should just ask them like, oh, is everything okay? Are you packing? Or sometimes people just start packing stuff up and giving all sorts of things away, and that sometimes you need to question that because they may want to give away their valuables to people that they truly care of before they leave this earth, right? So that's a sign. Also, like drug or alcohol abuse. If you see someone who normally isn't indulging in like alcohol or drugs, and now they're just just all of a sudden they're just super, they're just over consuming a drug or alcohol, and it's just not their normal behavior. I mean, any one of us really, we shouldn't be, well, that's a whole nother topic. I'm just not gonna get that deep, but I'll just keep it at that. If you see people who normally don't indulge in drugs and alcohol, and all of a sudden they're overusing, then you should question. Or if you see them and they're constantly under the influence, then you should, is everything okay? Now, it's one thing if you have someone in family, you might smoke weed, okay, every now and then, or like to cope. But if they're to the point where you see them and they can't even really function and they're just outside of themselves, you should ask if they're okay. And unexplained anger is another behavioral warning sign for suicide. Okay, so yeah, and then situational. Well, I'm sorry, but he said behavioral, right? Unexplained anger. So if someone is just enraged, and maybe we get in disagreements with family members, and that's fine. But if it was like something that really wasn't that serious, and they explode, then you should be the bigger person and kind of address like the larger issue. Like, I see you just got really upset when we spoke about this, that, and the third. Is everything okay? I mean, is there anything else bothering you that I may not be aware of? So again, you want to offer hope. This training is QPR. This is about hope. This isn't therapy or counseling. This is about providing hope. Okay. Situational clue. So if like tragic event happens, okay, if someone loses like a loved one, or they get fired from a job, right? Like, you need to check in on somebody. You never know how that can alter someone's mood depending on that person, right? We're all individuals, so we all have different reactions to different scenarios. No matter if you think it's normal for you, like, oh, and you can say, oh, you'll get a better job, or oh, that person went on with the Lord. Like, you still have to check in with that person individually and see how they're feeling, because different situations can lead to suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts. All right, so now, so we did direct, we did indirect, we did behavioral, and we did situational, right? So now I want to go into tips for asking the suicide question, right? So you have a loved one and they come to you, and you have a loved one who has been displaying some of the behaviors that I just mentioned, some of the warning signs, right? So whether it's direct, indirect, behavioral, or situational, they may be experiencing, you may have witnessed some of those signs, and you're like, maybe you're the type of person where you need to ask right away. You feel like, I need to ask, what is going on with Chappelle? What is going on with whoever, right? You can ask. You can say, hey, are you suicidal? Do you, like, you know what I mean? But these are like, honestly, at the end of the day, don't put too much thought into how you ask the question when it's an urgent matter. Okay, like, at the end of the day, you need to figure out, you want to save this person, right? Like, that's the ultimate goal. So yeah, there are ways that we can say things, right? But at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that that person is going to be okay. Okay, so you can ask things like, have you been unhappy lately? How did that affect you? If you have been unhappy lately, maybe I can help you with something. Is there something that we can talk about? Because I notice things change about you. So if you don't want to ask someone, hey, are you suicidal? Just like that, then that's fine. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you want to just ask a question. Okay, so that was a direct approach. Now, all right, so now we're going to get into, so I also want to briefly mention this before I get into the breakdown of the acronym, right? So the acronym QPR, right? Question, persuade, respond. That's the approach for this suicide prevention training. All right. But before I get into the breakdown of the acronym, I want to show you guys the lethal triad. Okay. So this is something that we learned. So this is a triangle, clearly. My graphics are funny. I know. Anyway, so an upset person, a firearm, and alcohol or drugs all in one setting is a lethal triad. All right. So if you know that someone has already experienced a traumatic incident or a shift in their entire life, right? Or they just lost a loved one, or their behavior, like they're displaying some of the warning signs we mentioned earlier, and then they're in a scenario where the lethal triad is present, you should be alarmed. Okay. So if you know someone who is dealing with or battling depression and anxiety, and they're in an incident where they're enraged, they're licensed to carry, and then they're indulging in drugs or alcohol, then that's like an immediate refer. Okay. And we'll get to the R in a second. Okay, so I'm going to break down the acronyms. So I had these little things. So Q is question. All right. So beat around the bush, but jump on the bush. Okay. You want to know what's going on. You want to know whatever's in your thought, whatever behavior you've been witnessing from your loved one or your colleague or associate. You just want to save a life at the end of the day. We should all be attempting to help people out, whether we agree or disagree, things like that. You should always be willing to offer helping hand. So the Q in QPR is question, direct approach. Here's an example. When people are as upset as you seem to be, they sometimes wish they were dead. I wonder if you feel that way too. So that's going around the bush instead of saying, "Are you suicidal?" Which is very direct. And then another way you can say is, "Are you thinking about killing yourself?" So sometimes with like my students, so I did a lot of crisis management dealing with first generation low income students at a predominantly white institution. And oftentimes students didn't want to speak to anyone but me. So they would come to me with like huge crisis. And a lot of times they were suicidal, which I understood because I don't know if I could deal with some of the things they were dealing with at their age in this day, right? So sometimes I remember being in with a student, and she's not, well, she might be old, but it doesn't matter. She'll laugh. But and I'm like, "Are you suicidal?" And because I'm me, like you guys all know me, Chappelle, Pelly. I'm still me, even with me helping, talking about mental health, all of this big topics, right? And uncomfortable things. I'm still me. I think that's kind of what caused me to do this work, which is interesting. But yeah, so sometimes I'm just going to ask what is going on, because that's the whole point of the Q. You need to figure out what is going on. Question. If you see someone down and out, you have to talk to them to discover how you can be supportive. All right. So P is for persuade. How do you persuade someone to stay alive? Okay. Hope. We're giving out hope. Hope Diller. That's what Real Talk Kim would say. I love her. So while you're persuading someone not to take their own life, be present. Oftentimes, like we're talking to people and you want to know what's going on, but you really don't want to know what's going on. Like I know oftentimes, and this is with me, and I don't care because they're not my real friends anyway, but like people ask me what's going on, and they really like, this girl always got something going on, because the past 4 years of my life, I did have a lot going on, nonstop. So, yes, I love you so much, Aunt Denise. Yes, rest in peace to Justin. He just was a gentle giant. I'm just so this past year has been overwhelming. But yeah, like you want to persuade someone, but you want to make sure they know that you're really listening and that you really, 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 really care. Okay? Because you need to care. You can't just ask someone who is contemplating suicide, like how you feeling, and you're really not all ears, okay? And you want to persuade with hope and give patience, okay? So some of the things like you can do is really just like as I said, offer a listening ear, and just listen really. And whatever hope you can give, Maybe it's, oh, let's go for a walk together. Give them something to look forward to. So I know with my one cousin, like when she was down, and may she rest in peace because she's no longer with us. When she was down, like I would give her hope by like with my ideas, honestly. Like I would talk about all of my entrepreneurial ideas and I would be like, look, we can do this together, we can help each other out. Let's write down some goals. And that would just give her something to look forward to. Sometimes I would go as far as like giving her a role in my business that I haven't even created yet. Just to help her just get past that moment, right? Like, so I would be like, man, when I do this, like you can be like, and my cousin, like we just really had that bond, so she could really trust and believe. I mean, because I really would have a place for her to work and be if she was still here and I was a millionaire, right? So you want to give people hope, so that they can see past where they are. So maybe it's writing down some SMART goals with them. Maybe it's, oh, do you want to journal, or planning like past the second that you're in currently, because at the end of the day, when someone is in between suicide and having suicidal ideation, they don't feel like they can move forward. It's something that they just feel so heavy that they can't get out of where they're at, and it's in their head, it's embedded in their head, right? And so you just have to be that hope. So we went over a question, which is you want to see what's going on with your person or your friend or your colleague or your lover. And then the P is for persuade. You want to persuade with hope. You want to give them hope, something they can look forward to, okay? Whether it's let's go out to eat later tonight or let's plan goals for your tomorrow and your future. The reality of it is when someone is like really suicidal, they need somebody to walk with them, right? And it can be a lot of pressure on friends and family and stuff like that, but it would be more pressure if the person took their life and they were no longer here with you. Okay, so this is, it can be a lot or whatever. So I'll be honest about that. Okay, so the last acronym is R, which is refer. My little bootleg signs. Okay, so stay with them, create a plan with them, connect them. So, of course, if you walk in and find somebody laying on the floor overdosed from pills, then you want to like immediately refer. You want to call cops. You want to call 911. Okay, let's be clear. However, if that's not the case, which a lot of us are just walking around depressed, right? And suicidal, and a host of other things. So for the R for refer, maybe you've been to counseling before. Maybe you have a counselor that you really, really love, that you want to recommend, and you can give them their information. Also, again, let's plan some goals. Let's stick to it. So working out is good. Maybe it's arranging an appointment for that person with a counselor. Like, here's the appointment time. Here is, intake is done. There's no extra steps that are going to like stress and weigh this person down. So when you refer someone, you don't want to they shouldn't have to travel 3 hours on the bus to get to the counselor. No, 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 no. You want to have things set up so it can be right there for them to access. Because again, when you're suicidal and you're depressed and you're going through different things, it's hard sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to get up and wash up. That's just the reality of it. It just gets that bad. It's a heaviness. So people need hope. People need hope. And that's what the referral is about. So some things you can say, like honestly, sometimes it'll get so bad where people can be screaming and hollering and enraged and they're talking to you or you don't know what to do or say. So some things you can say, right? I want you to live, okay? I want you to live. Because oftentimes people are like, oh, it'll get better. Oh, God can give you more than you can bear. Listen, I believe in Jesus, but at the end of the day, like you just go through things. And we have been through loss and just a whole bunch of different traumatic things that can linger in our minds. Okay. We think we okay, and then you just not okay. And you like, you know what I mean? So you just want that person to know, listen, I want you to live. I don't know you don't want to start mentioning, oh, it's going to get better. You don't listen, just, I want you to live right here, right now. So let's get through this moment together. And then another thing that you can say, right, is follow. This is a follow up. I want to walk with you through this. Okay, so people know that they're not alone. Oftentimes, when you're experiencing suicide or going through your depression, you get like trapped in your mind. I like to call it a mind box. That's just me. And y'all hear more about that coming soon. But anyway, so like oftentimes you just get in your head, like, and I keep saying like this heaviness, but you really don't see no way out. So like I would always say to my students, and they would be like, "You crazy?" They would get depressed. I'm like, "Think of New York City," because and the only reason I say New York, don't laugh at me. The only reason I say New York is because like people are constantly moving. Like people all around the world know what New York is, so that's why I picked New York, and I love New York too. Just to visit, never to live. But like I always say, think about New York because people are constantly moving. Like life is still going on, and sometimes you need to know, like, okay, this is just a day. This is just a day. This is a feeling. It will pass. My friend Monet always says that it's just a feeling. It'll pass. And so, like, we need to be reminded of that. People who are experiencing suicidal ideation, who are suicidal, who have already attempted suicide in the past, like, or experiencing depression and anxiety or self doubt, all of these things and thoughts can lead to you being suicidal. And I think people really don't realize that. Like, it's a feeling, it's an unaddressed feeling, honestly. Like, it's an unaddressed feeling that a deep feeling. Let me say that because all feelings aren't bad, but it's unaddressed. It's something that's lingering around. So I see I have some new followers on with some new followers. So people joined us. So I pretty much just, and it was really quick. I didn't know it was gonna be this quick. I was like, I wanted to be quick, but I didn't know it was gonna be this quick. But anyway, so I did share the National Suicide Hotline, right? And then I also referenced that this is not therapy right now. This is just me I'm giving out hope, okay? And that's the whole point of us learning ways to prevent suicide is to give out hope, okay? And I went over QPR. So Q is question, which means you need to know what's going on. I'm doing a recap. You need to know what's going on with the person who may be experiencing these thoughts and these feelings so that you can be present to persuade. So that's what the P is for. You need to be in the moment with that person, all ears, no distractions. They need to know that you really, really care so that then you can go in and persuade them to continue to stay alive. You want to give them hope. You want to give them something to look forward to for the next second, for the next day, for the next hour. Okay. Like they need to know someone is with them and you're going to work with them through their thoughts and be there. They're not alone. There's things that we can do to make this better. And then for the R for refer, or I like to say recommend, same thing. You're going to connect them with a resource. That's what we can call the R too, a resource. So like if you have a counselor, you want to get the appointment and get it set. No intake, no 3 hours to get there. They need things to be set up. And if it's super, super, just super detrimental, right? You need to take them right to the hospital immediately. If someone is speaking of harming themselves right then and there, all right? Or if you know someone, and I spoke about the lethal triad as well. If you know about someone and they've experienced a loss and it's a lot for them to handle, they have a firearm and they're drunk and they're texting you and saying things like, I'm not feeling good and all these things, and they have all of those three things going on, a firearm, drugs and alcohol, and they're upset, that's a lethal triad, okay? So that's a clear warning that someone is in need of your support, your help. All right? So, yeah, any questions? Anyone have any extra things? So I'll show you the warning signs again for those of us who just joined. There's direct, indirect, behavioral, and situational. Certain situations can make someone suicidal. Sometimes, behaviors will be displayed, and you're like, wait, that's out of character for her. You should reach out. And direct is, I want to kill myself, right? And people just directly say it. And indirect is, I don't know if I can continue to do this. Like, so those are the things you need to look out for. Those are the languages you should look out for. Any questions? I can't believe I'm doing this so live. And I'm like, woo, suicide prevention. No one wants to talk about it. But there's so many people committing suicide every day. It's unfortunate. And there's a lot of us overusing drugs and alcohol so we can run from the feeling of suicide. And it all needs to be addressed so that we can heal and move forward and just make this world a little better. We need to make this world better, y'all. The only way we're going to be able to make this world better is getting our minds clear. The city is going crazy. Chris, I'm good, guys. Listen, we got to discuss this. A lot of people hiding, okay? Saved but suicidal, period. It's a lot of people who are saved and suicidal. There's preachers, ministers, and things like that are suicidal. I noticed, I was like, I don't know, I had like this, I feel like I heard from God today, and I was listening to a word, and then I was talking to my mom, and I was reflecting, and he was just like, why do you think pastors randomly call out suicide and, you know, on the pulpit, like as they're praying and things like that? They've experienced it. You know what I mean? You can't really, like, the greatest teachers have been lessons that you've gone through, okay? That's the only reason I can give y'all game the way I give it, even to my students. That's the only reason they want to come to me when they're in crisis, because I've been through a lot of different things, but still progress in what they're trying to currently go through. And that's kind of how I developed a niche for this, along with having men in my life commit suicide. So we all know someone that's suffering from depression and suicide and anxiety, and we need to be there for them. Oops. And we need to be there for them, okay? That was pretty quick, but so again, I'm going to put this up here. National Suicide Prevention Hotline, okay? Hopefully you can read my handwriting. I don't know why I made these little signs. It's so funny. Hey, Dee Dee, I see you, girl. I missed you. I love you. Oh, Aunt Denise, I'm so glad that you just are making it through, Aunt Denise. God is good. You are a strong woman. Whew. I'm glad you journal. And that's another thing, right? So, yeah, writing down goals and journaling. Listen, that will free your mind. I was telling one of my family members, I'm not going to put nobody on blast, the other day, well, two of them actually. Now it's doing it on me. I had two people I was talking to the other day, and two of my like family members, yeah, blood, both of them. And you know, sometimes we're just talking about how you get trapped in your thoughts, and sometimes actions that you do, and you like, you don't feel good about stuff. Listen, write it out, write it down, because like you got to release that, right? You have to release some of those unwanted thoughts and feelings so that you can continue to move on past it. And it's easier said than done. I write out everything. Oftentimes people are like, you accomplish everything you say you're going to do, because I write it out plain. You hear me? I even write out my prayers. And I still get attacked mentally and stuff like that. But I have like weapons now. You know what I mean? I have tactics. I have weapons. I have my people I can call. That's another thing. If you're on here and it's you that's suicidal, like, because now I'm starting to feel that, right? But if you're on here and it's you that's suicidal, because this was actually intended to like provide awareness for us to be able to identify when others are suicidal. But if if you're personally suicidal, and you know sometimes you're trying to get past yourself, get past your own thoughts, journal, write some goals down, get you like 2 to 3 people that like you can constantly repeat yourself. Oh, you know, we have friends that are super busy. We have friends who like, we have different friends for different things. I know I do. And pull on them people that you need for this. Okay, those people that you feel completely you can be unmasked with, and like, you know, they can take, like for me, I have a very strong personality, and you know, I can give out the best advice and all of that stuff, but I can get very, very low too. However, I want to be able to vent to a person who is still know I'm Dr. Chappelle at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to discredit me because I'm having a down moment. But you, doc, you know, no. Like, I need someone who I can still be Pelly and Dr. Chappelle with, in all my moments, right? So, like you should, we had different people for different things, but you should have like 2-3 people. I had prayer warriors that I actually call on, grown women, 50 and up sometimes too. Like, feel like that's a lot of things that us younger girls, like, we don't do no more. We don't get old head women like who really like they walk through and overcame some of the things that we're walking through now to pray for us, support us, listen to us. Like you need an old head, you need a um, woman in your life who can pray for you, who can give you guidance outside of your mom and stuff like that. Because I know some of my battles are different than my mom and my family. You know what I mean? I'm like I have a different life at the end of the day. So if it's you that's suicidal, consider therapy, definitely pray, and have your people, period. Your people who will listen to you, your people who will be like, hey, yo, like, that's my girl. She having a moment. Come on, let's pray real quick. Boom. And keep it moving. But they going to check in on you. They genuinely care about you. Like, you got to have a shield on top of praying and your spiritual life and things like that. Any questions? I feel weird. I was back here snoring. I knew she was gonna go to sleep early, because after we had after I picked her up from school, she wanted to go to the park today, and she was running with this little boy. He was running. He had her running all over the place. He had her running all over the place. She was like, "Stop, Charlie!" And then her mom and I, his mom and I, was like, "You don't have to keep running at them." And she still wanted to run because she didn't want to give up. But it was funny. So now she's like snoring behind me. I'm glad y'all can hear. But yeah, so I mean, that was a quick suicide prevention training. Okay, I wrapped it up. I see my girl Shalonda. Now I feel like I want to do another recap because people are starting to come on. So we went over the 3 acronyms of this suicide prevention training: QPR, question, persuade, refer, and we went over some warning signs, right? 4 of them: direct, indirect, behavioral, and situational. And then I also shared the hotline. And if any of you are ever in need of just some pep talk and you're, you may be experiencing some suicidal ideation or depression and anxiety, I have some worksheets or affirmations I can send you. I can also pray for you. Just let me know. That's what I'm here for. You're not alone at the end of the day. Even if you're sitting in the room, in the car, with your head down, listen, you're not alone. I really believe I've been put on this earth to uplift others, specifically moms and Black and brown students, past some of their like most traumatic incidents that have created mental roadblocks, and it's hindering them from moving forward in different areas of their life. So, yeah. I can't believe I did this training. I'm cracking up. I'm actually on YouTube right now. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I can't believe this. It's my first live. I don't really do live. I put a filter on Instagram. I didn't put a filter on Facebook. I might look. All right, I'm going in with y'all. Well, I'm gonna stay on here for like I guess 2 more minutes. You're not saying anything. I know this is like a heavy topic, but I just want to make sure we're all okay. And hopefully I know how to save this so that you can come back and watch it. Thank you for joining. I was nervous. I'm like, why am I nervous? I do this all the time, but oh, I did a great job. Oh, thanks, Book. Billy Johnson. Hey, Aunt Keish Keish. Yes, I'm wrapping up. Your Isla girl in the back starting like, wake up. I don't got time for that. Yay. Oh, it's awesome. Is that sweet or lay? Okay. I always get y'all mixed up on Facebook. Oh, I love you too, Shonda. My spiritual sister. We sisters. We been sisters, but now we sisters. Girl, we mountain top sisters. Yes, thanks. I was like, hey, Lay. I'm glad you said it was awesome. Yes. Isla, shh. I'm on live, girl, trying to save some lives. Because look, the reality of it is a lot of us are down and out. Money is tight. Sometimes this season you feel like attacked. Like I just felt last week, I had like, whoo, I was just getting beat up myself. I'm like, dang. But I don't know. I think I really was just in my head because the reality of it is these issues been existed, right? And I've been working through them. And now, the holiday comes and you want to buy gifts. I don't know. I think it's just like a mental thing. We just get so wrapped. We just start getting wrapped up in stuff that's really unnecessary because we already established a plan to kind of work out of it. But sometimes the thoughts just, I don't know, everything just resurfaces all over again. So I'm here for you. I hope you were able to listen. If not, come back and replay it. Yeah, they can make or break. I ain't gonna lie. Last week I had to call Aunt Shara Keish. Woo! Monday I was like, oh. But now, I'm just like, wait a minute, wait. The reality of it is, if we didn't have something that is so great coming in this life, we would not be getting beat up by life. At the end of the day, I don't care what you believe. Like really, I mean, I feel like that's the truth. Nothing is going to come easy. That's super worthwhile. So we gotta just work hard to kind of move forward. Cause if we up, we able, baby. We can get through it. Hey, Rainby. Hey, Miss Sharon. My auntie. So stick to the plan, y'all. Y'all know the plan, okay? Yes, I'm getting hyped now. Stick to the plan. We can do this, okay? We can defeat those thoughts. We can defeat the bank. We can defeat all things, okay? It's all in our mind. We just gotta just remind ourselves we can do this. Especially if we got up. We can do this. We can press forward. So yes, onward and upward. Onward and upward. I'm cracking up. Now I'm having fun. And we up, we able. Seriously, because you can feel drained and attacked like one thing after another. You can't catch a break, you can't breathe. Ugh. And sometimes you do feel like I just don't want to be here. And I'm here to tell you it's okay to have those thoughts, but get it out, and find some people who are willing to listen to you and give you some hope. And I also have a resource, like a therapist that I love. And I kind of send her information out to everybody. I go to one text, I just copy and paste it to everyone. Because she's just so awesome. So if you're interested, let me know. She is available to do virtual as well as in person. She does not accept insurance, but most of the good counselors don't. However, if we can buy bundles and lashes and just everything, I had to tell myself other things, drink, look, all those things, then we can go and talk to somebody and pay $100, okay? Just to get your mind right, because the reality of it is whatever you're indulging in to kind of like help you get past a feeling is going to be right there when you're not high, you're not drunk, you're not around that person. Like, because I used to try to, like, I don't know, get through some of my feelings and things like that when with things, people, places. Like I just, try to hurry up and I need to go somewhere. But that feeling came right back when I was alone or right when I was sober. So I just think that it's very important for all of us to just, like, if you got to pay for a good counselor, just do it because it's really worth it. And it is unfortunate. That does suck, Kristen. But that goes right back to all the systemic issues that we're facing in this world. I mean, down to healthcare, right? Like, because that's healthcare. So they do that on purpose, intentionally, right? They try to block our access to amazing Black counselors that we can identify with to get that proper help that we need. That's just the world. They want to prevent us from everything, from a lot of things, you know. They don't want us to have the best of the best. So we're gonna work our way around it. And if we have to pay, that's what we're gonna do. But let me know if you're interested in that information because she's amazing. All right. Well, I'm about to wrap it up. Isla's back here moving all around, and she shouldn't have went to sleep that early anyway, but she did. And I shouldn't have let her. But she did. So if you have any questions, if you need to talk, hit me up. I kind of gave you some tactics. Again, write in a journal. Spend time with God, of course, or whatever you believe in that gets you spiritually aligned. And remember that you are able. You can do all things. And if you have someone else that you're able to assist, you want to, and you see them going through suicidal ideation, you want to QPR, question, figure out what's going on, persuade them to continue to keep living, right? You want to persuade them and offer to be with them and walk with them, set some goals with them, and then you want to refer, set them up a direct referral, set them up with the counselor, take them to the hospital. So those are the 3 things that you can do to give someone hope. I hope you all enjoyed this evening rather. I was excited. All right. Later. I love you too, Anthony's. Yes, reading about the power of positive thinking helped me a lot years ago. Okay, so someone recommended that read The Power of Positive Thinking. I know you missed a lot this year, but it's okay. You hear this all the time. I know. All right, see you. Now let's see how we end this thing. All right.